Hey there to our 179 subscribers, our future subscribers, and all the people that secretly watch us without subscribing. Please let me know in the comments what your opinions are of AI and whether you think it's good or bad or a mix of the two. I'm going to go over some things that I think and know and feel and whatever. First of all, I thought about doing this video because I was watching Shane Dawson's podcast and they had commented about Morgan being addicted to ChatGPT. And I know my husband has complained that I'm teaching AI too much, but there are so many reasons that I like it, and so I thought I'd get into that. There is a link to Shane Dawson's video for anybody that would like to watch it. It is just a small part of his video because he does a lot in his videos. Also, I will include a clip from one of my my very first AI video. The first one where I was testing out a program called Photor, and I had fed into it several prompts, 22 to be exact, and so I just went and cut the video up so it just shows the actual prompts and the pictures that it came up with. And then I just now went and used ChatGPT to recreate those photos. What I ended up doing though is I told ChatGPT that I was going to give it prompts for images that I wanted it to make widescreen and not to ask me any questions because I wasn't going to give it any answers. So that way it would be fair and it would have the exact same wording as the original program 2.5 years ago. It did glitch after the 7th picture and made it square, and I did have to go in and say, please keep the images widescreen. So it did go back to do the widescreen images. Also on image number 20, the original prompt was Yoda twerking, and it told me that it could not do that. And I guess because Yoda is an actual thing that's copyrighted. And the very last image, number 22, it said it could not do because I used David Bowie's name, but it offered to do a Bowie inspired image. So it still did the image. It's not actually David Bowie, and it wants you to know that. So here is a chunk of clips from Photor along with the new images. I typed in several boats and planes wrecked and rotting around an island, houseboat in a swirling fog, tie-dyed Grim Reaper, small country town, people looking out of windows and doors and alleys, people in suits wearing masks, spider balloons, and lots of people dressed all in white, cabin on oceanside cliff, butterflies coming out of jack-o'-lanterns. I typed in black unicorns. I went with tornadoes in the snow, had skydiving clowns, cat falcon punching a fish to the moon, stepping on leprechauns, swimming in the money, kicking the dancing queen, I just keep chasing penguins, blue seal in the sky with diamonds, unhinged Ferris wheel rolling towards the sea, and Yoda twerking, robots who just want to party, David Bowie flying on a tiger made of lightning. So hopefully that was entertaining to you guys. So the reason that I really got into using AI was kind of to mostly replace Google. And what I mean by that is, I still go to Google to look up a phone number or an address or whatever, but I was spending way too much time on Google researching things. And so there's a lot of things that I don't do on Google anymore, and I rely on ChatGPT because I can type into ChatGPT, and instead of worrying about specific prompts, I can literally have a conversation, say, this is what I'm looking for, this is why, this is what I'm doing with it, and it can understand what I'm looking for a little bit better. And then it can say, hey, check out this website or this website and this information, and it can direct me to save me a lot of time on research. And I love research, so saving me time on something that I do too much is a good thing. So to me, it's like ChatGPT is like Google, but magic. So also I use it a lot for brainstorming. It's like having an extra person around to bounce ideas off of without depending on anybody. And yeah, I know you should depend on people, but you can't always depend on people. And what if you're in the middle of something and you need somebody to bounce ideas off of and there's nobody there? You can go to the computer and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think of this? And he'll say, yeah, that's a great idea, but what about this? And then you can kind of go back and forth and come up with better ideas or whatever, depending on what you're working on. And I really like that because it would have come in really handy when I was working on editing my husband's book, his first one, because in that book he had somebody go over to somebody else's house for dinner, and he only really had an idea of one thing he wanted at the dinner, and he asked me to come up with a meal that would be logical with that item in that particular type of household. And so when I did that, if I would have had ChatGPT, I'd be like, hey, there's these people, they're this age, they're having people over that are this age, and they're this nationality, and this is the food they're eating, and what goes good with it. And ChatGPT could have told me, hey, you might try this or this or this. And I could have even asked it, hey, give me a recipe for these things so that I can decide what items to have on the counter or stuff like that. And it would have saved me a lot of time. But I did it the hard way because I didn't have ChatGPT available to me back then. Or I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I did. So anyway, so brainstorming is a very big thing I use it for. Also, I've really been getting into making pictures for fun. And it used to only give me 3 pictures a day. And then with my schooling, it's given me 2 months free of unlimited pictures, which has been a blessing because apparently the free ChatGPT has quit doing pictures because every time I go to do it, it says they're busy. And so, and it's not like I'm making money off these pictures. I'm doing it just for entertainment, just because it's interesting to me and it's fun. And it gives me something interesting to post on my Facebook every day. And when the 2 months is up, will I pay for the subscription to keep getting those pictures? I don't know. If you see the pictures posted on my Facebook in, still, at the end of the year, then you'll know that I paid for it. But right now I'm just trying to get enough to last me a little while. So it is fun to do pictures. I do not like and do not agree with copying anybody else's images. So what I do is I take and I see something online, or I see something in a TV show, or hear somebody say something, I'm like, oh, that makes me think of an image I would like to make. And I will share an example with you. Maybe I'll put the pictures up here in the corners. So over here, I will put, or over here, I don't even know, because I don't know what direction this is going to face, but you'll figure it out. So there was this one picture I seen a while back of a person made out of clouds sitting on a beach. And I thought, oh, that's cute. But wouldn't it be cute if you had a whole bunch of cloud people making, not a whole bunch, but several cloud people making up a band, playing music in the clouds with a jet flying by with Sapphire Publishing written on the side of the jet. And so I made that image, and I'm not making money off the image. It's just something I did for fun. And so I can show you the difference between the two. and show you what I mean by inspiration. And sometimes, I mean, I'll find a picture and I'll be just like, oh, I like the colors that are in that image, and I think it'd be really good to use those colors in something else. And I'll even save that picture and send it to ChatGPT and be like, hey, can we use this color scheme but do this, you know? And so that's what I mean by inspiration. Do not copy people's pictures unless you're just sharing them, but that's a whole nother story. And I don't know, maybe I should have put my name on all the pictures I made, but we're so far in now, it's kind of silly to do. Maybe someday I will. I don't know. I've uploaded pictures of myself at different ages and my kids and stuff, so it could have a better understanding of what I look like, so it can include us in the pictures as cartoons or realistic or whatever we choose, or whatever I choose. And I will give you an example, like, because sometimes it is simple and it just gives you what you want right away. Other times it is not so simple. So earlier I was going to do this like live, or not live, but you know, while recording the video, but I was kind of short on time, and so I thought, well, I'll just do this before I go to church, and then I can, you know, make the video after church. And so I typed into the program, I said I need a realistic widescreen image of myself as a teenager, maybe in red jeans and one of my Slayer shirts. I should be walking through a beautiful botanical garden, talking to ChatGPT on my phone. I would like a variety of cartoon animals to jump out of my phone screen and destroy the garden. And it took it somewhere completely different. It started off, it made me a man. I don't really know why it did that. And then I told it didn't look like me. It made me into a different man. And then it did all these different pictures. And then I come to the realization it couldn't grasp the concept that I was trying to create. Even if it would have gotten me correct, which I could have uploaded another picture of myself and it would have fixed that. But it couldn't get the concept down. And so I will show you the final picture it did, and so you can see where the flaws were in it. So then I decided to do something that was not so complex and mind-bending to make it easier for ChatGPT, so I can show you guys how it can make a picture. And I said, let's try something easier. Make me a widescreen image of a 5-year-old me, long blonde ringlets, no glasses, in a pretty Scottish dress, dancing with a bunch of trolls, fairies, and gnomes. And that one turned out okay, although I do try to tell it not to put so much haziness and, you know, I don't know how to explain it. But I like my pictures bright, and sometimes it forgets that and messes them up for me. But anyway, so where things get a little bit dangerous with depending on ChatGPT, where people get a little upset with it. First of all, replacing jobs. So here's how I feel about that. Yes, it could potentially replace some people's jobs. So here's the guideline. If you would normally hire somebody to do something, don't go and get ChatGPT to do it for free. If it's something that you would not pay somebody for in the first place, then I don't see anything wrong with using ChatGPT, because you're just doing it for yourself or for fun or for entertainment or whatever. And it's not as big of a deal. Just don't be using ChatGPT to replace people. Cheating at work or at school, that's something that's been done a lot, I think. People will use ChatGPT and say, hey, write this essay for me, write this paper for me, write this letter for me. And sometimes I think people don't even bother reading it to see how accurate it is, and I don't think that's a fair thing to do, really. But also, I mean, look at the whole thing with the calculators, you know? We used to be told, oh, you can't have a calculator in class because you're never going to have a calculator with you when you're out in public doing things, and everybody has them now because it's on their phones. But this is a little different because you're not learning how to do things you need to do. Now, where it does come in handy with work and school and stuff like that is, for example, like when I'm doing some of my schoolwork, sometimes I don't quite understand the instructions that the teacher gives. And so I will take the instructions, paste it into ChatGPT, and say, explain this to me. And it will explain it to me. I'm not asking it to do the work, I'm asking it to explain what the teacher is asking me to do. And then there is the whole counseling thing. A lot of people are upset about counseling, about people using ChatGPT or other AIs to get counseling. And there's horror stories out there about people hurting themselves because of things these AI counselors told them to do. The thing with the counseling, if you need counseling, like really need it, you should probably seek a professional, live person to do it, whether that person is online or not, as long as they're verified professional, then that's fine. The type of counseling that I use AI for is a little different though. So sometimes I just want to vent, and I don't want to annoy anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want any drama. I don't want any gossip. I just want to vent. And ChatGPT is really good for that because you can vent and not have to worry about all those other things. And you can just say what's on your mind and then move on with your day. And it's really good for relieving stress. And so it can be a good thing if used correctly. But if you are seriously in need of counseling, please seek a professional. And as far as being dependent on it, so if ChatGPT is helping you with things in your life, if it's making things easier, more efficient, then great, use it. If it's becoming your life, if you're ignoring your friends and family in order to talk to it, if you're making life-altering decisions that could backfire and hurt you, I don't recommend it. You know, you have to use your common sense and your discretion and understand that it is a computer program and it makes mistakes. Sometimes it says things that are not true. I've corrected it many times. I couldn't tell you how many times ChatGPT has apologized to me for being wrong. So yeah, just don't depend on it, but use it as a tool to make life simpler, easier, more efficient, and I think things will be fine. But you know, there's going to be people out there that use it for the wrong reasons, and that's a shame, because if they do it too much, the program might get taken away, and then the people that use it for good reasons won't have it. So but I don't think that's going to happen, because I think it's going to go more the other way, where people are going to be using things so much that those things begin using other things without people. And I mean, I've even heard of YouTube channels created by YouTube that's all AI generated, and they're doing that. My personal opinion, I think they're doing it so they can pay people less by keeping people watching YouTube created content, so YouTube gets more money and puts out less. That's just my opinion, though. I have a lot of opinions. Ask me about them sometime. So anyway, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and get your friends to do the same thing. And I will be back soon, because I'm doing this a minimum 2 videos a week. So yeah, see you soon. Bye.